Welcome back, everybody. It's been a month. Whoops. It happens. We all went to, well, some of us went to MFF. Made eye
Yay, I got
contact.
sick.
Oh no. I didn't get sick, but I did I updated both my COVID and flu vaccines like a couple months ago in anticipation of being at the most crowded location I'll be all year. I actually don't know if that
Did you
was the
stay at
case.
the
I don't know if it was any
main
more
hotel?
No. I had to take a shuttle every single time I want to go in and out of the hotel.
Damn.
That's why I had a backpack, which I'm definitely tired of carrying backpacks around. It just makes my back problems worse over the course of the trip.
Yeah.
I should resolve that by exercising in a way that strengthens my back so cons stop harming me. But yeah, by day like 2 or 3 of each con, I start being like, I have been upright for too much and my back hurts.
Somebody I got a front pack this year, and that helped a lot.
A front pack. Was it like an arms over the arm sling, or was it a fanny pack?
It was like a backpack, but like for your chest. So like you instead of wearing it on your back, you wear it like in the front.
Gotcha.
Very convenient when you're constantly getting in and out of Ubers. I don't have to move my backpack; it's just right in front of me the whole time.
Let's see here. So we were just getting out. Unsurprisingly, it's very cold out. I think I hear Lyle exit the door after me, but it doesn't seem like he's chasing me down. I turn a corner and sprint towards the dining chambers. It's where he would most likely be right about now. We've been using it as a place to hold meetings, and he's been working in there a lot. The other council room hasn't been used in a very long time, so they're still cleaning it out. What just happened? That dream was so vivid. I don't think it was a dream. Something is really wrong. It was like there were rules. The circumstances were so realistic and it was too well structured. I can feel the sweat running down the side of my head. I feel like an absolute mess. This doesn't feel like something that I just imagined in my head. The events seem too real. I realize that I'm practically shaking all over my body as I sprint down the echoing halls. Maybe it was just a nightmare? A coincidence? Please tell me that was all in my head. I reach the door and fling it open. Ah! Woman jump scare. The human creature. I kind of forgot about the humans.
Yeah, no. She's a very sudden introduction.
Yeah. Raynar. There he is, sitting at the table. His head jerks in my direction, and I throw open the door.
What's this?
Sitting next to him is a woman I've never seen before. Wait, a human? Exactly.
Are you cheating on me?
You have eyes for another human? Bet you told her that you've never been this open with anyone before, too.
Oh my god.
The only human I know of is a guard under Lyle's command, but this isn't her. So they're that rare, huh?
Yeah.
She's a bit shocked to see me burst into the room, but her expression turns to one of disgust. Humans are so small. I don't care, though. This is important to me, and I've been courteous for too long. It's driving me insane. Sorry, King Raynar. I walk up to the table and press my hands down on it, supporting my weight. Hello, Lord Richter. What is the meaning of this chaotic entrance? Lyle leans into the doorway with a sheepish grin.
Your Majesty.
Lyle. Yes, we all know who we are. Really, who's she?
Boy, you're about to get slapped.
Well, she's wearing the same marking that he is, so... As I point to the woman who is now standing up from her chair.
War Minister Reen.
Also, like, more correct to be, like, to address the person you don't know and be like, I'm sorry, we haven't been acquainted or something. Like, who's that? Pointing at them, talking to somebody else instead of addressing her directly.
I got very concerned when he said that, like, you were disgusting, because I know we've just woken up from a dream and come running down in here. I'm like, please don't be in our underwear. Please don't be in our underwear.
Maybe that's why it's in disgust.
Elizabeth Reen.
Pleasure. I try and get a word in to Raynar, but she turns to him.
Is this that ambassador you were telling me about? Guessing he's the one from Aaron?
Raynar? They both turn to me with shocked expressions. Lyle steps into the room, raising his hands in a comforting manner. Yes, Richter? Raynar's look of surprise changes to one of genuine concern. I take a deep breath and begin. Remember that talk we had last night? A searing burn works its way through my head. I almost collapse onto the table from the pain, but I manage to support myself with my arm as I bring my hand to my head.
Someone should get Leaf. He isn't looking too good.
No, I'm fine. I just need to know about last night. Richter, this isn't the time to talk about that. Please, Raynar, you have to trust me. You said that you could remember every detail of that day, correct? He doesn't answer at first. My head is splitting open. Yes. I said the next sentence, tapping my finger on the table for emphasis. Who did it? There's a very long pause before he speaks. There's a look of curiosity on his face. It was a bandit. Yes, but what did he look like? Why do you need to know this? Please, you have to trust me. I feel like Richter's got this backwards and should be trying
we
to
should say
volunteer
what
the
we saw
information.
first. It's like, I saw this in my dream. Can you verify this? Because then he's just gonna be like, well, you're only gonna tell me what I already know.
Yeah, it's like right now it's like a fraud would just be like, oh wow, it's just like in my dream. Yeah, it's exactly what I saw. Whereas like if we actually volunteer the information, they're like, how the fuck? He looks down at the table. My head feels like it's going to crack like an egg. I hate to do this, but I have so many questions and very strange things are happening. Things I don't understand. We don't know the exact species, but it was a reptile. He was dressed in a brown cloak and was carrying a wretched dagger. Oh my god. Richter did this wrong.
Yeah.
A razor-sharp pain shoots through my body, staring at my feet and ending at my head. It causes me to arch forward and lean my head back, looking up. Ah!
Richter!
I feel myself fall into someone's arms. Apostrophe. Richter, you did this all wrong.
Is he still getting it?
I think he's still getting his chicken.
What happened to him?
There we go. Going to be okay?
He should be fine.
I hope so.
My eyes feel like they've been sealed shut. My head is throbbing with a dull pain. I'm laying in bed on my back with a few pillows propping my head up. It's very cold. I force my eyes open. This seems oddly familiar. Both Lyle and Leaf are on the other side of the room. Leaf is sitting at my desk, writing on a piece of parchment. Lyle has his hands on the desk and is leaning over it, watching what Leaf is writing. Leaf looks very small in my chair, his shoulders barely coming up over the desk. Horrible posture, it's really bad for you.
Yeah.
I slowly sit up in bed and they turn to me.
You're awake.
Leaf hops out of the chair and they both walk up to my bed. How long have I been out? I pull the covers up a bit, realizing I'm not wearing a shirt.
Oh, today. Today is the winter solstice.
What happened?
You tell us?
Was the solstice the day the party was for?
Yeah.
No, he's out of time!
No, we missed the party. Or I guess it just hasn't happened yet.
I mean, he's out of time to warn anybody.
You
Potentially.
were really distressed and on edge in the dining chambers.
It all comes back to me after he says that. I do seem to remember something like that. I hope I didn't offend the king.
He wasn't offended, just confused.
I'm really good at waking up in this bed from an incident over and over again. With a wolf standing over me.
The war minister was more confused, though. You let out this painful yell before falling over.
Oh, that must have been a great first impression.
I'm sure it was.
I think your failure to address her as a person was probably a worse
Who's that?
first impression. Who is that? Like, you own this place?
Yeah.
That's literally like, if the queen walked in and said something like that, you'd be like, oh, okay, but who the fuck are you to have that tone? He says this with all the sarcasm he can muster.
I managed to catch you before you hit the floor, though, so you should be fine.
He says this with a tone of proudness in his voice, which I can't help but smile at. I feel fine, though. My head hurts a little, and I can't shake the thought of that creepy dream I had, but I feel fine. It predicted information that I had no knowledge of. I can still remember everything clearly, right down to the nearest detail.
Would you mind telling me what had you so troubled?
I take a moment to gather my thoughts before telling him. He grabs a quill and a piece of parchment and gets ready to write. I had this dream the night before. It was about the murder of Queen Elena.
Who told you about that?
Reynard did, just the day before. The only problem with the dream was that it felt too real. I didn't realize this at first, but I was experiencing it from Reynard's perspective. I also didn't have any control over anything. I remember the horrible feeling of not being able to do anything as those awful events unfolded before me. It must have been worse for Reynard, considering he actually couldn't do anything. The scariest part about it was that there were things in the dream that I didn't even know about. Events, people, all sorts of things. Every detail was laid out for me on a silver platter. And Reynard confirmed some of the details for me, which is what I had feared the most. I paused and rubbed my eyes. Why would being able to see things that happened and them being real make you be the thing you feared the most, I wonder? I guess maybe because of the other visions is what he means. Because otherwise I'm like, well, this already happened, so it's not like it can get worse from you realizing stuff about it, you know what I mean? Lyle is staring at me with a curious look. Leaf is gazing at me, taking everything in and giving me his full attention. I had hoped that this was just a coincidence, but it feels like much more than that.
What things did you see?
I saw Elena's murderer. He was a reptile in a black cloak.
What color were his eyes?
So that means that Reynard's wrong about the cloak, because he said black, no brown. He blurts this out immediately with a look of determination on his face. Red. Almost glowing. He crosses his arms tightly across his chest, then looks at the floor with a thoughtful glance. I want to tell him about how I saw him in the dream, but Leaf speaks before I can.
This is very odd.
He folds up the piece of parchment and places the quill back on the desk.
Thank you for telling me this. I'm gonna go see what I can figure out with the little time before the festivities. You seem well enough to go about your day, but I would suggest resting up a bit before tonight.
He walks over to the door and opens it.
I'll look for something to help with the nightmares, and I'll let you know if I find anything.
He steps to the door and closes it with a soft thud. Lila's still standing there, looking at the floor. He seems afraid. I can see his tail tucked between his legs. What's wrong? He looks up at me with a solemn look. He anxiously rubs his thumb between his fingers. Lyle?
Yes, Richter.
How did you get that scar? Richter! Stop doing it wrong! Richter! I'm begging you. Just try to confirm to other people that you in fact have this ability, or that these revisions are real, by volunteering information they don't have, or that they haven't given you yet. He brings a paw up to his face and gently rubs at the old wound.
I got it from the...
He fidgets with his paws and his tail droops a bit. I know this must be an uncomfortable topic, but would you mind telling me what happened? You don't have to if you don't want to. Because I already know, and I'm keeping that from you. His chest inflates as he takes a deep breath, and he begins to speak.
I told you how I squired for Lord Bryn before I was knighted, correct?
Yes.
I was 13 at the time, and the king requested Lord Bryn to meet them halfway at an outpost from the canyons. The king and queen were on their way back from a trip to Driz. They wanted him to be there for an important discussion with the Drizzian diplomat. It was a long trip, and I was very excited. It was my first time outside the kingdom. I didn't get to see much, though. Just the northern run and some of the canyons. They were huge, but nothing like the mountains west of here.
He jerks his head in the direction of the window where the mountains rolled down to the water's edge.
On my way back, the attack happened. I was among some of the soldiers who were part of the defense. I didn't have much training, but I had held my own pretty well. And thankfully, I didn't have to kill anyone.
I can see his words catching his throat.
But I fought him. The man who killed her.
Really?
I'm sure of it.
His tail is now stiffly tucked between his legs.
It was a very quick fight. He was running toward the royal carriage, and I cut his tail. He turned around and grazed me with his knife. It cut a huge gash into my face, but thankfully my eye is fine. I can still see out of it, but not as good as my other.
Not totally fine. He looks at the ground, clenching his fist.
Can we not talk about this?
Of course.
Thank you. I just don't like to talk about it because every time I ask myself a question. What would have happened if I had stopped him? Things could have been different. And I can
see his eyes welling up with tears. I get out of bed and envelop him with a warm embrace. His armor is cold on my bare chest. It's okay. None of that is your fault. We can't change the past. Like how I've been stripped in my sleep yet again. He seems a bit shocked at the sudden physical contact, but he returns the favor and wraps his arms around me.
Thank you, Richter. That was a really awful event.
We step back from each other and I sit down onto the bed. I just have one more question, and it's not about that.
What is it?
Your family. The Reed family.
Yes?
I'm not very familiar with them. In Erwin, we don't hear much of the other nobles, especially from Lyre. Would you mind telling me about them?
Not at all. The Reeds are a very old family. Records of our lineage dates back almost 500 years.
Wow, that's a long time. He nods his head enthusiastically.
Yes, and our family has served the Ossian family for generations. At one point, we were the second most powerful family in all of Lyre. But over the years, that has changed. The Reeds are dying out. There aren't a lot of us left. My father, Marcus Reed, is the lord of our large keep in the Golden Timber. I am his only child and have no interest in women, so I cannot continue the family name.
He says this in a hushed voice.
He can pester me all he wants, but I'm not getting married. Especially now that I've given my life and heart to this kingdom.
The only hope this
So
family
if it-
has is Mpreg.
I am Knights took a vow of celibacy usually, right? That seems like a knight thing.
I
Probably.
don't know.
Okay. That's like, I've never heard, I don't know, it's like in my mind, I envision
Jedi
Knights as like,
did.
okay.
I'm
I
a
level,
historian.
no. It's, that just seems to make sense to me. I don't know. I'm playing metaphor lately, and that's very, very knight-centric, and I think all the knights are just, yeah, like, I don't know, it just seems interesting because you imagine, like, nobles would become knights, but nobles also seem like the kind of people that would be concerned about their bloodline continuing on. So it seems like a conflict of interest, but whatever. So our family will most likely die out, but I've accepted it at this point. Once my father passes away, I'll be the last Reed.
Has a nice ring to it. Don't. I don't think that was the right tone.
I guess it does.
What? A weird thing to say about I'll be the last of my entire family. Has a nice ring to it.
That's pretty cool.
You said it in a neat way. I just have one more question.
Yes?
What does your family crest look like?
Ah, yes. It's,
He pads over to my desk and grabs a piece of parchment and quill.
do you mind?
No, not at all. He starts drawing on the paper as he describes it.
The area where I'm from, the Golden Timber, is a little bit northwest of here. It's called that because when it snows, the trees will shine like gold as the rays of sunshine pass through their snow-covered leaves.
Just imagining all this lore build up for this drawing, and then it cuts to it, and it's just like it's just dick butt or something. like there's so much meme potential of cutting to something ridiculous.
It is said that when my ancestor Radolf Reed was born, it was during an eclipse. This was when the founders of my family decided to make our family crest an eclipse.
He finishes his drawing and swipes the parchment off of the desk.
Here, this is what it looks like. Yeah, just a picture of Goatsy.
It's a butt. He holds up a drawing of a symbol that I recognize. It was painted on his armor in my dream. Uh-huh. Richter. I swear to God.
Yeah.
You're giving up
Jeez.
every opportunity you have to prove that these were real to somebody else. I've never seen the symbol anywhere else, though. It's not on Lyle's armor, considering the royal armor is plastered with the Ossian crest. Another sharp pain flows through my body as I try to remember.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a small headache. Lies come easy to me when I'm telling half-truths.
You should rest for a bit. The ball is tonight, and I don't think you'll want to miss it. You have your outfit ready, right? So I just turned off the heating again.
Yeah.
Great.
Will I be seeing you there?
Yes, I'll be there. I'll be doing my job, but I'll be there.
Now's my chance. I really want to ask him if he would like to go with me. Are you, going with anyone? I can see his tail swish side to side.
No, I'm not really going with anyone.
I don't know if Richter ever thought about this before. It
Yeah,
feels
he
like a
hasn't
thing.
really talked about Lyle's.
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah,
I think he maybe said that he was attracted to Lyle, but definitely didn't talk about asking.
yeah. I feel like him anticipating the idea, like, of asking him to go with him, is a good thing to set up sooner.
I would rather go just to have fun, you know?
Oh, yeah. Damn it. I feel the same way.
Oh, no.
You fool. The next few seconds are extremely awkward. Why am I so bad at this? I find it silly how I'm able to ask heavy questions like the ones I've been asking for the past day, but I can't ask a handsome wolf to a dance. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never been good at romance.
Well, I'm gonna leave now.
No.
Why is that so funny? Anyway, bye. Don't worry, Richter. Being bad at romance is a mandatory feature of all VN protagonists.
This is true.
I suggest you get some rest.
Okay. He walks over to the door. I'll see you this afternoon then.
Force.
No.
He opens it and walks through, closing it softly.
You fumbled it.
Yo. Soiled it!
Soiled it.
Once the door...
Once the Doyle.
Once the door is closed, I lay down in bed and pull the covers up over me. I'm still trying to comprehend the dream I had. It was similar to the others, but much more vivid. Considering the way things played out, I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of it being some sort of vision. That just scares me more, though. I lay there for a few minutes trying to fall asleep, but my mind keeps racing. After a couple minutes of focusing my mind on other things, I managed to become drowsy. No, don't just kill more time. No. Waiting for him to put the other realization in, which is that he's had other weird visions, and he should probably think that those might be real.
Yeah.
And then act in some way. The next few hours are filled with restless sleep, as I find myself tossing and turning in bed. Aren't you hungry?
Yeah, you were asleep for a day.
Yeah, boy, what are you doing?
Is that a ring?
Yep. Some kind of ring. I slowly come to, feeling extremely delirious. Thankfully, there were no nightmares or any dreams for that matter. My sleep was very empty and as black as night. It was a vision of being dead soon. I suddenly realized that the disturbance that had woken me up was the noise of knocking at my door. Knocking its ladder as I stumble out of bed and throw a coat around my naked torso. Whoever is at the door clearly has something urgent to tell me. Just a moment. I reach the door and open it, expecting to see Lyle or Leaf.
Oh.
Prince Adrius. Adrius. He recoils a bit at my surprise, but quickly composes himself.
Lord Richter.
He looks me up and down with a judgmental gaze.
I see you still aren't dressed for the ball.
I awkwardly pull the coat more tightly around my body to cover up. It's the best I can do considering I'm only wearing a pair of loose trousers and no shoes or socks. I was resting. What could he possibly want with me? Why would he be here to see me? Usually whenever we have a simple chat, it's in the dining chambers of the halls. Please, come in. I usher for him to enter, but he stays standing in the doorway. I decided to humor myself and make him uncomfortable by insisting upon it more. Your Highness, it is very cold out. I'd rather not let a draft in. You're the draft. He's hesitant, but walks in the room and takes a seat in one of the chairs, dusting it off first, of course.
I doubt it's outside your understanding as to why I'm here.
I take a seat at my desk and place my hands on my lap. Actually, I have not the slightest idea. It's all a bit surprising.
Yes, I suppose it is.
After this brief interaction, a long moment of silence follows. He sits there, tracing his finger across along the patterns of the fabric of the chair he's sitting in. Every moment that passes, I just wish that I was somewhere else. I can no longer bear the senseless amount of silence that echoes through the room, so I clear my throat. It's nice to see that your horns have grown back already. He instinctively brings his hands up to his horns and runs his fingers up to the tips.
Yes, that oil does seem to work wonders.
I take it you'll be able to attend the ball tonight then, without any embarrassment?
Richter!
Wow.
That's... He's finally... Richter, please, he's trying to have a conversation for once.
Damn. Just straight at the insecurities. He lowers his hands from caressing the horns and looks at me.
No, I don't think I will be attending tonight.
There's definitely going to be a murder.
As much as my father wishes me to.
He pauses for several seconds, looking out the window with a glare in his eyes.
I apologize for my outburst the other day. It was an embarrassing moment for me, and I regret my actions.
Do my ears deceive me? Am I getting a heartfelt apology from the prince himself? I can't help but wonder if this ever happens. He almost choked those last few words out. Your Highness, all is forgiven. It did not affect me as bad as you would think.
That's good to hear. But that is not why I'm here.
There he is. It was all formality, as predicted.
The reason I am here has to do with yesterday's events.
He sits up a bit and stares into my eyes. His eyes are big, and have bright golden and brown pupils. Oh, yes, I was acting a bit irrational. I must have been terribly delirious, but I'm feeling much better now that...
You know what happened.
Sorry, what?
My mother's death. What happened 10 years ago? As relevant as it is... How did you come to find out about this information? You arrive here a clueless, naive ambassador, clearly only armed with your people skills, and yet...
He pauses to shake his head as he prepares his next rude yet witty comment.
And yet you still lack in that regard.
Now, wait just a moment.
And now, only a little over 2 weeks into your stay here, and you already know of this tragic event. And with such detail...
How do you know what he knows? Trying to think.
Was he there?
Unless Leaf is sharing tales? Like
Maybe. Oh yeah, he mentioned the oil, maybe.
Assumed that Raynar told Adrius about it or something.
Yeah.
Just...
Well, the issue is that he didn't tell Raynar anything.
Yeah,
He's like, what happened?
I'm trying to remember the exact
and then he
words
got
of
Raynar
what
to say
Raynar
stuff
said
to
at all.
him, which was kind of backwards. Like, obviously, us knowing at all because of Raynar is also remarkable, because nobody knows about this stuff, because Raynar just decided to tell us everything. But as far as us knowing impossible details, the most that really got out was that eventually when we woke up, we mentioned seeing the eyes. But the rest we didn't, like, actually corroborate and talk about correctly. So I'm just like, all he really knows is that we know that the assailant had red eyes, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's just it being brought up at all and you mentioning any detail is Adrius kind of overemphasizing so many details, like not actually that many details.
He stares at me with an intensity I've never seen before.
It's almost as if you were there when it happened.
Yeah, this feels like a response to an alternate version of the story where Richter actually corroborated much of anything with anybody about this.
Right.
Which is intuitive. It's like this thing where you write the intuitive follow-up to the scene that you kind of just would expect to have been there, but that's not what was conveyed. His fist is clenched tightly enough to where I can see the fabric stretching and creasing. I'm not really sure what he's implying by this, but I know that he is definitely not happy. All sense of casual conversation is now gone as tension rises in the room. I place my hands on the desk and drum my fingers on an open book. Yes, I guess it would seem like that. As unbelievable as it may sound, it was from a nightmare. He lowers his fist, yet still maintains his deadly eye contact. I've come to the conclusion that it was pure coincidence, nothing more. That isn't the case, but I would rather not make a fool of myself in front of him as I did the others. The more and more time passes, the more I regret reacting in such an indignified manner. I understand that almost anyone would react in that way if something like that happened to them, but I can't help but feel stupid. It was merely a few traits from the nightmare coinciding with the actual event.
No, some of those traits could not have been coincidental. Everything from your account was perfectly accurate to how Father described the original event.
Yeah, see, my issue here, there was no account to... That doesn't make sense. Wait, just a moment. How would you know so much about what happened yesterday? He quickly stands up from his chair.
Never mind how I know. I don't know what you're up to, but I don't like it.
I quickly stand from my desk. He can clearly see that I am not enjoying these vague accusations. I don't like how he thinks he can treat people this way. It's because he's the prince. That's how.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be advising him in the distant future, he needs to learn what that means. I'm pretty sure that he can treat you like this when you're advising him.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Adrius, but I am certainly not up to anything. You may be the prince, but don't let that give you the impression that you can come into my quarters and accuse me of treasonous behavior. I haven't said or done anything that should lead you to this conclusion. After I'm done shouting, I feel a sense of triumph. You'd expect someone like him to be completely shocked by my sudden outburst. He's probably never been told off by anyone beneath him before. Despite my judgments, he just runs his hands along the arm of the chair as he walks toward the door, looking me in the eye.
I never said anything about treason.
He reaches the door and opens it, a thick gust of cold air flying into the room and settling to the floor.
Father has told me that once I am king, you will be advising me. Even though I feel that is something I should choose.
Probably. Yeah.
Allow me to bestow some advice to you, Lord Richter, before that time comes.
I don't think that your dad can make you take advising from Richter if you are king. He steps out into the hall, holding the door open.
I would watch what I say and do in this castle. The walls have ears, and oh, how they love to listen.
It's Leaf's in the walls.
The little guy is a baddie?
He's a little guy and it's on
Just
the
imagine
walls.
something like Lyle sticking his nose through the door from earlier, but it's just like Leaf's fucking beak, like very conspicuously sticking out behind a desk.
or just peeking through the window in the door.
Yeah. You'll never know.
His signs were always there.
With that, he exits, the door closing behind him with the muffled thud. I'm still standing at my desk, my muscles straining and my head feeling a bit weak. That edgy little brat?
Yeah. I don't think that's a word you should know, Richter.
Edgy? I say this in a low voice after hearing that last comment. Sometimes I'm surprised that we're only a little over a year apart. I pull the chair up and sit back down in it, feeling a bit lightheaded. What did he mean by that? Does he have spies roaming about? It would make sense considering he's a noble in an environment full of uncommon and unfamiliar people. But he doesn't seem like the paranoid type. Although having spies never really hurt anybody. But for what reason would I want to cause trouble? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I fiddle with the trinkets and items on my desk in a lazy manner. I'm thinking too much about this. It's most likely an empty threat from a person that I still haven't gained the trust of. And I haven't done anything wrong. Still can't help get the feeling that I'm being watched. As you were told you were, basically. It's not a feeling I enjoy. He's just an entitled brat that needs to get out more. An untouchable, entitled brat. I'm going to watch my step around him, though. But I'm definitely not going to bend to his will. His mother's death is no excuse to be rude and insensitive. I rest my head on my desk and try to think about something else.